Hello, my miracles. How are you doing today? I have an itch on my leg. So, this video is going to be a little bit on, I don't know. I kind of debated on whether I wanted to share this experience with you, but we're going to go ahead and do it, and maybe this will benefit someone else that wants to work in a theme park. At a theme park, wherever that may be. Considering that I was working at Walt Disney World, that is the biggest theme park ever. So we're just going to go right into it. So the hiring or interviewing process took a long time. I applied at Walt Disney World for about 3 or 4 positions. Didn't get anything back for 3 months. Applied for other ones. My last, I applied for character attendant, which is you're following the characters around, making sure they're okay, taking pictures with the guests. And then I applied for vacation planner. Now, I wanted vacation planner probably ever since I thought about working for Walt Disney World, because I saw them in their air-conditioned booths. And they were so helpful, and they knew everything, and they sold you your tickets, and they gave you recommendations. So I was like, I think that job is for me. So it took about a month or so, and I was emailed by Disney, and they said, we would like to consider you for an interview. Go ahead and schedule it, blah, blah, blah. So I was like on cloud 9, even before I got the job. I was like, oh my gosh, I have an email from Walt Disney World. So we scheduled the first interview. It went off with a bang. It was awesome. The lady was very nice. And so she's like, okay, we want to go ahead and set up a second interview. So I was like, okay, if I got this one, I got the second interview. The second interview was absolutely nerve-wracking. I mean, in the middle of the interview, she was like, okay, well, why don't we go ahead and just stop right here, take a deep breath, and just kind of relax. And so at that point, I was like, I have not gotten this job. I answered everything wrong. And I was so hard on myself when I drove home after the second interview. I was crying. I was like, just beating myself up. Within a few hours, they called me and offered me the vacation planning job. Again, on cloud 9, I was really excited. So I set up a lot of what Disney does is they go through emails, which is nice and a little bit less nerve-wracking than like telephone calls constantly. So I set up my Disney Traditions class, which is you go into this massive room at Disney University, and they kind of share with you the history of Walt Disney World and just kind of go through what they stand for and what they want to bring out in you. And it's probably one of my favorite aspects of the whole training thing is you get your own mouse ears. It is it's fun, and it's an all-day thing. It's 8 hours. They have a cafeteria for lunches. You get to meet other people from different, hey, where are you working? I'm custodial, or, so it's all together. We're all together in this class. And there was about 30 to 45 people in this class. So I was really excited. Then the next thing that you sign up for is On with the Show. And what that is you go to the location that you're hired for. So I was hired for Animal Kingdom Vacation Planning. And they have this decent sized building that you go in, and everybody in that class with On with the Show works at Animal Kingdom. So I was at a table of about maybe 5 or 6, and we had about maybe 25, 30 people in that class. And what happens is they go through what Animal Kingdom has, what they offer, what they expect of you. And then you go ahead and walk around the park. And of course, Florida weather is humid and hot, and it was miserable, but I was shocked at how much I didn't know about Animal Kingdom. And so I think On with the Show is absolutely fantastic once you get into Walt Disney World, because even like Magic Kingdom, there was a lot of things that I didn't know about Magic Kingdom, and kind of like the inner workings of everything. So then begins your training classes. So as a vacation planner, from what I've been told, it has the longest training, and that is 5 days. Sometimes 8 to 9 hours, normal working day. And you're in this classroom with a bunch of computers and little tables in the middle. And I think there were about 6 vacation planners in my class. And I will tell you what, every single day was so hard for me. There was so much more that I did not know that went on with vacation planning. It's not just selling tickets. This position is a very, very difficult position. And if you're considering this, I would say definitely go for it, because each person is definitely just kind of different. And I was raising my hand all the time. You had to know the ticket types, the annual pass renewals. What were the annual passes? How many were there? And it was just absolutely, I went home every day with a headache. So I was kind of stressed out about that. So after my initial training, then they give you a schedule on your training on site, which is in the booths as a vacation planner. This video is going to go long, maybe, so bear with me. So then I had maybe 4 or 5 days in between my core classes of vacation planning and then my on-site training. And be prepared. If you do receive a job, my experience was you have 5 days in between here, you have 5 days in between here. So you definitely have to be patient, especially with money, your paycheck kind of thing. It staggers, and it's not like training here, and then you're on the job. It's a lot of gaps in between. So my on-the-job training was, oh Lord, it was a couple days before Pandora opened. And if you guys do not know, Pandora is an Animal Kingdom, and it was a holy mess. Like, it was being thrown in as a trainee during Pandora opening week. I wouldn't recommend it. It was very stressful. And my trainer was a very awesome guy. He was fun. Unfortunately, I don't think I was trained the best. And I think a lot of it has to do with the opening of Pandora. But it was about 4 or 5 days of training. And then my birthday, May 31st, I was on my own. And when I was on my own, I absolutely knew that this job was not for me. And that was very difficult for me, because this job made me feel stupid. And I know I'm not stupid, but it just had that, I wasn't understanding a lot of the annual renewal passes. I wasn't grasping a lot of the information that was being thrown at me. So, I went to one of my supervisors, and I was there for a little bit less, maybe over a month. I think I was less than 2 months. I went to my supervisors and asked for additional training, because I knew that if I did 100% and 150% went above and beyond and tried my best, I knew that if it wasn't working for me, it wasn't working for me. So I received a little bit of additional training. And guys, I'm a basket case. I'm an emotional person. And I would go home every day crying because I felt stupid. I just was not grasping a lot of the information that as a vacation planner you have to know. A lot of computer work. You would hit one button and another screen would come up, and then you would have to know where to go. And I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to computers, technology. So that in itself, and then knowing what steps I have to take for different circumstances, it was very overwhelmingly difficult for me. So I went to my supervisor again and told her that this just was not for me. Normally when that happens and you're in, I don't want to call it probation, but if like kind of training mode or whatever, normally if that happens and you tell your supervisor, they will let you go and say you can come again and apply 6 months for a different position. So my supervisor was very nice, and she's like, well, let me go and call casting and see what I can do. So I waited for a couple days, and I felt, you kind of second guess yourself, like, okay, maybe I should have stuck in longer. Maybe I could have grasped it more, but in the back of my mind, I knew this wasn't for me. So I received a call from casting, and then I was offered a job for park greeter, which I thought, you're interacting more with the people. It's going to be fun. No. So, needless to say, I did my training, and the second day of my training, I was so dehydrated and nauseous. I was about ready to faint. It was so hot. And of course I have tattoos, so I had to wear pants. And we're walking around in direct sunlight training, and it was horrible. The heat, I was sweating, and like you guys know, I do have psoriasis, so my psoriasis was like boom, 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 out in the open. It was a very, very difficult job. So, in conclusion, unfortunately, I am not working for Walt Disney World. And with all the difficulties that I had, I can say this. The people were fantastic that I worked with. I hated leaving Walt Disney World. And let me go ahead and sum up this. No job is perfect. You're always gonna not want to go to work. With Walt Disney World, if you work for them and you go backstage and you know all the ins and outs kind of thing, it does take a lot of the magic away from if you were just going to visit or experiencing everything. And I think that was the big thing for me, is I really wanted to work for Walt Disney World. I thought it would be awesome and fun and fantastic, but it takes so much magic away. And I was so disappointed at the fact that this was what I wanted to do, and it just, the magic was gone when I was working there. It's a job. And so I hated leaving Walt Disney World because I really wanted to tough it out. But my first job was very, very difficult. My second job was easy, but the heat was killing me. It was absolutely horrible. So I just want to let you guys know, if you do decide any theme park that you choose to go into, it's got to be something where you know up front that it's going to take any type of magical way. You're not going to be a visitor. You're not going to be a tourist. It's going to be a job. And unfortunately, it wasn't the job for me. And my heart breaks because I really, really wanted a career with Walt Disney World. And it just isn't happening. So I don't know if this is going to help anyone looking at Walt Disney World as a career. Maybe your experience will be different, but mine was it was very bittersweet. So I'm going to get off because it's been a long video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you are not a miracle and want to be, click that subscribe button, watch a miracle happen, like this video. I love you guys. I hope I didn't bring any of you down today. Maybe not, but I love you, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.